Hi, I'm Priscilla Belle Mangnall, a local historian, and this is my downtown. This is my Grand Junction, and I hold claim to this because I'm the 5th generation of the Brown family to live here. And Grand Junction, 50-some years ago, did something that was incredible, and it changed the whole outlook of the town. Number one, it changed the economy, it changed our future, and it changed the attitude of the people, and it changed the way the rest of the world looked at us. It put Grand Junction on the map. So behind me is one of the legends of the Grand Valley sculptures. And on the 50th anniversary of the Operation Foresight shopping park, we created this sculpture and unveiled it in 2012. And it shows not only the story of Operation Foresight, but also the 3 men that were really the compelling factor behind getting Operation Foresight completed. And we have Joe Lacey, the city manager. We have Dale Hollingsworth, who was the leader of the Chamber of Commerce, and he helped get all the businesses together. And then we have Leland Schmidt, and he and his family had been in business downtown for 50 years. And these are the 3 men that walked door to door and convinced the other merchants that this was a good thing and really helped get the ball rolling. The man who created the sculptures was Ron Chappell, and Ron Chappell grew up in Grand Junction and was quite the acclaimed artist. Grand Junction was founded in 1881, and it wasn't until the 1950s that Grand Junction looked at itself and realized that downtown needed some revitalization. Number one, we were looking at 2 new shopping centers moving in to town on the outskirts, and that was a biggie. That put fear into the downtown merchants. Number 2, the downtown infrastructure was crumbling. Our sewers were bad, the sidewalks were cracked, and it was just generally the curbs, it was just a mess. So the city planners and the merchants decided we've got to do something about this. You know, we're just not going to get any farther if we keep up the way we're doing. So during most of the 50s, they tried and they thought, and they surveyed the city to see what the residents wanted. They consulted, they planned, but they never did get a solid plan. In 1960, they hired Joe Lacey as a city planner, and Joe Lacey was a man of vision. He could see what we needed, and he was a man that could get it done. So he got a citizens committee together of planners. There were men and women, there were merchants, there were gardeners, there were landscapers, there were all kinds of people throughout the community that he got together on this 7 committee, and they made a plan. And it was a plan that worked because Grand Junction had unusually wide streets. And to get this done, they did not want government money, because then the government would try to tell us what to do, because we've always been kind of a Wild West rebel town. And we didn't want the government to tell us what to do, so we taxed ourselves. And the tax won 13-1. So 72% of the money that it took to redo that Operation Foresight came from the community and the citizens itself. So in 1962 is when they started this project, and that's when they started tearing up the streets. It took them 1 year to get the whole project finished, which then in itself was pretty incredible. And on May 17th, 1963, they held the Foresight Festival. Governor John Love walked down Main Street and stood on the bandstand and congratulated the town, and everybody in town was in that parade. I was in that parade as a 10-year-old girl riding a bareback horse. And we were all so proud, and we had a Foresight Queen, and there was nowhere to go but up from there. And what you see now when you come downtown, you see the trees, you see the shopping park, you see the flowers, you see the planters, and most of it is not original. The design is original, but what you see now was what they did when they called it uplift, and they uplifted the downtown and kind of refurbished all the places that were kind of needed upgrading after 50 years. They took the asphalt and covered it with cement on Main Street, which is nice because it's not so darn hot for the farmers markets and the festivals, and new trees, and it's still as beautiful as it was 50 years ago. When we unveiled this legend sculpture in 2012, we also printed a companion book by Ken Johnson and Vera Mulder, and it's a great little book that not only talks about how we got Operation Foresight completed, but also a little bit of history of some of the other sculptures and of Grand Junction itself. And it's available at Grand Valley Books, just down here, a block away.